Welcome.
Hello and welcome back to Pleasant Grove Sports Network. I'm Boston Harding here with
Coleman Keel.
And we are here for the first round of the state tournament for the Pleasant Grove Vikings versus the Wasatch Wasps.
Should be a good game today. The Vikings and the Wasps were actually each other's last game of the season. I don't know what I did to Max Preps, but it stopped working.
You clicked on Molly Mitchell.
Not on purpose. The Vikings coming into this game going 17-9 overall in the regular season, 13-1 in region. The Wasps finishing 17-11, 8-6, third overall in region. Should be a good game. Both times these teams met during the season, the Vikings came out victorious. Viking fans hoping to see the same outcome today and advance to the second round of state later today. The Wasps looking to stop that trend and beat the Vikings to have the same experience. I lost the word as I was saying it. But either way, should be good, should be close. I've spoken with a couple players on the Vikings. They feel prepared and confident going into this game against the Wasps. Should be very, very fun to watch and equally fun to commentate. What do you expect to see from the Vikings coming into today, Boston?
As the Vikings have been more than just winning against the Wasps, they have been dominating the Wasps. Both times playing them, taking a 3-0 sweep. First at the Wasatch,
Wasatch.
The Wasatch Wasps, the Nest, that's what they call it. As, again, dominating both times, 3-0 sweep in both, having amazing games against them, and looking to continue this to bring it to the second round, who will be against either the number 4 seed Maple Mountain, who Pleasant Grove has beat both times they played them in the regular season. That's what it's called. As well as having a better region record at 13-1 and a better state ranking at 11th than Maple Mountain, I believe being 12-2, as well as, off the top of my mind, 14th in the state. But Maple Mountain still came out with a higher seed. I believe that could be because of the overall record. Pleasant Grove had a little mishap before the start of region where a couple players got injured, and really,
as a result, the Vikings offense started off a little slow in the first few games, dropped a couple they probably could have won. Either way, it's in the past. The 5 seed today, obviously with it being playoff, it is basically win or go home.
If the Pleasant Grove Vikings lose this game, then that's it for them. If they lose in the second round, that's also it. There's only, what is it called? Consolation games in the third round and on. So if the Pleasant Grove Vikings lose here or against Olympus,
the winner of Olympus and Maple Mountain.
Yeah. So if they lose either of those games, then they go home after having an amazing season, taking region for the, I was about to say the first time in a long time, but they did take it last year with, I believe, only having one loss on the region as well. Or, sorry, they had, I believe, 2 or 3. Actually, I can check. I forgot that I have a computer in front of me. As I know they did lose to Lone Peak. They were 9-1, having their only loss to Lone Peak at home, or at Lone Peak, sorry, taking the win against Lone Peak at home.
It's early for a stream today.
It is very early. I am very tired. I was up a lot earlier than I should have been on a Wednesday morning. Wow.
Another important thing to consider coming into today's matchup, last year the Vikings were a 6A, now they're 5A. should be good heading into this tournament. I don't expect to see them go home today, and we'll have to see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, as you said, they were 6A last year. That does give a couple of these girls a little leg up on the competition, knowing that there's been so much more pressure on them with 6A because there's honestly just more people. There's more people watching them considering that it's bigger, and they know what that's like. They know how to handle the pressure. They did it really well last year with Addie Beck and Tatum Nelson up at front, and they're really looking to continue that this year. As I was looking at some stats before the game, Tatum Nelson is down on her blocks a little bit by about 20. She was at 112 to end the year, now at 92. But we will see what continues on with the state tournament. As we did see last year, she went crazy in the finals against Lone Peak, taking second place with the loss. But I believe having about, off a guess, probably 15 blocks in just that one match, about 5 or 6 of which ending out in points for the Vikings. But an amazing job on her side, as she dominated last year with how many blocks she had, as well as being an outside hitter. She really shined through at the end of the year and coming out into this year as well. She is trying it out more, as we did just see her kind of fail at a slide there on the right side.
Timing issues on spikes for the Vikings have not plagued the team because it hasn't really haunted them, but there's been a couple of times where I don't know what happened. It glitched on me. Whatever. On the front line, the Vikings have had just timing errors where the set was higher than they wanted, or the attacker jumped higher than the setter expected, and it just led to whiffs or not as hard of a hit as you would expect from who hit it. You mentioned Tatum Nelson up at the front, and another key player to watch today for the Vikings, Marley Vaya, has been outstanding on the front lines all season. Watch out for those three up front, and then they're not really, I was going to call them unsung. They're not really unsung heroes. The dynamic duo at serve for the Vikings, Caitlin Stadler and Marley McCandless, are two of the best in the state at what they do. Marley McCandless, exceptional setter.
As well as Dixie Warner being, are you talking about servers?
Serving.
Or?
I was going to transition into setting after
okay.
I was shouting out the Vikings servers in Caitlin and Marley.
Yeah, as well as Dixie Warner being one of the main three as well. As we have seen her more than Marley McCandless, but either way, those three amazing servers for the Vikings, as well as Caitlin Stadler having an amazing year last year.
And another thing to watch for is there's a lot of potential both on the court right now and sitting on the benches waiting for their turn. We mentioned Dixie Warner and Marley McCandless, both sophomores, both playing exceptional in JV. Or not in JV, this is varsity. They're probably exceptional at JV too. Either way, we started going through key players and just went through probably the Viking starters.
Yeah, basically honestly.
Went through the Viking starters trying to highlight key players. That's how good this team should be coming into it. We mentioned the slow start. Now, less than a minute away from the start of the first game for the Vikings.
As I believe the Wasps still have to warm up too.
The Wasps went first.
Okay, I wasn't really paying attention to that. Still working out a lot of things, but we do greatly appreciate UVU letting us come out and stream. We did have a couple of issues just getting into the building, but we did finally work those out. Thank you to everyone for your help, and yeah, just once again, thank you for letting us stream, and we hope you guys enjoy the first round of the playoffs, as well as hopefully the second round later at noon if Pleasant Grove takes the win here.
Getting ready for the first serve of the game. In for the Vikings is Marley Via. I always mess up names. It's Addie. That's Molly Mitchell, right?
Yep, number 7.
I've messed up names all the time. 12 is Addie Beck, 18 Marley McCandless, 13 Caitlin Stadler. And I can't quite tell who is in the back left.
Number 17, Lexi Brown.
Lexi Brown. Thank you, Boston. Wasatch with the first serve of the day. In the first round of the playoffs are underway. Serve received by the Vikings. The set over, awkward recovery on the serve. Big spike met at the net. The set over, big spike, barely saved by the Wasps. Recovering, Marley hits it over the middle. And Wasatch mistimes it. First point of state goes to the Vikings. Gives them the early lead 1-0 over the Wasps, as that had the makings of a great set written all over it. Both teams finding ways to recover from awkward situations. Back now to serve for the Vikings, number 12, Addie Beck.
Brought over, harshly received by Wavia, brought over from the Wasps, McCandless to Molly Mitchell, finds the floor on the right side, just past the libero, number 6, Falia Wavia. It's a hard name. Don't judge me. I know. I feel like I did that pretty good. Okay?
Pretty good. Now Addie to serve again for the Vikings, up 2-0 early in the first set of state. That serve finds its way to land before the back line. Point Vikings and an ace for Addie. Big, I don't know why I said big, perfect placement on the serve for the Vikings. The serve received by the Wasps. Hit over the hands of the Viking blockers. The set over to the Vikings. Big hit. Sails over the net into the Olympus versus Maple Mountain game. Wow, that was a hard hit. Sailed over the border between games. Addie back to serve, 4-0 Viking lead.
We haven't really seen a whole lot from Lexi Brown recently, but she has been coming back into the past, I believe, 2 games, as the Wasps will take their first point makes it 4-1 after a mistimed hit from Molly Mitchell.
It's the timing errors we talked about in the opening. Wow, that failed. Air ball. The set by Marley McCandless had the makings of another hard spike for the Vikings. Back set to Via, met at the net for the Wasps. Number 11, Annie Cronauer, and number 8, Kylie Allen on the block. Cronauer for the Wasps, we saw it in the last game. Really the only person on the Wasps team able to slow down Tatum Nelson. The only person really close to matching Tatum in height, as Cronauer once again gets the dump down over the net right on Marley McCandless' head, going for a set. The Wasps have cut the lead down to just 1. It is 4-3 Wasps serving, but Vikings lead.
Annie Cook with another serve received by Stadler to McCandless to Lexi Brown, finds a hand, but the floor as well. Vikings take a lead of 2 after the kill from Lexi Brown.
And a substitution for the Vikings. Out goes Stadler, in comes Nelson. As now the Vikings have most of their big 3 up front from left to right. Nelson, I keep forgetting her name.
Tatum?
No, not Tatum, the 17.
17, Lexi Brown.
Lexi, thank you. Tatum, Lexi, and Marley, as that cross-court spike finds its way to land in. It is now 5-4 for the Vikings. Wasps rallying.
Kylie Allen having an amazing start to the game, number 8. That's definitely someone to look at, as Cronauer gets an ace on that serve off the hands of, I believe that was Addie Beck. Ties it up at 5-5. Pulled over from Cronauer, but out the back makes it 6-5.
That's such a hard decision for Addie to have to make. Ends up being the right one. Wouldn't blame her had it fallen in. Those spots off of serves and off of spikes are the hardest to try to time, because you don't know how much it's just going to dive on you or if it's just going to sail out. Miscommunication from the Vikings on the receive. Dixie got out of the way and Addie couldn't get there in time. Either way, point Wasps. They tie it up at 6. As in for the Wasps comes number 18, Macy Clark, as she will head back to serve.
Harshly received by Addie Beck, hits the net and falls to the floor, as the Wasps will take the lead now at 7, Vikings at 6, as Clark will come back to the line for another serve. Pulled over, received by Lexi Brown, punished in 1, but a great block there from McCandless. Brought over, received by Addie Beck. McCandless to Tatum, a weird hit off her hand, flies into the net and makes it 6-8.
The spike by Tatum looked like it hit her thumb or the general side of her hand, not where you want it to go. You usually try to hit it along the base of your hand. As hard spike from the Vikings hits a Wasp and sails out, makes it 7-8. Wasps lead. As a bit of confusion, 2 volleyballs ended up on the court for a second. As now the Vikings serve.
Lexi Brown to the libero, to the front. That one out on the right side, just barely. Ties it up at 8-8. A great look there from Dixie Warner. Lexi Brown coming back to the serving line for the Vikings, looking to take the lead here. Pulled over, received by Annie Cook, but flies out to the net for a Vikings ace. Makes that 9-8.
These moments from the Vikings we've seen all year, keeping it close at the start, and then the Vikings typically find a way to go on a run. Can they start that run here?
Tip there from McCandless. McCandless to Tatum, a quick hit Great timing on that one. Vikings get the kill in open space down the middle as they take a lead of 2.
Vikings first to break double digits, up 10-8. Lexi back to serve again for the Vikings.
Pulled over, received a little awkward from Annie Cook. Brought over from Lavia. McCandless, a little jumble at the net. Vikings keep it as they cannot on the second one. Bit of miscommunication from Addie Beck and Tatum Nelson at the line, as that will make it 10-9. As well as a little update on some of the other games. The Maple Mountain versus Olympus game. Maple Mountain in the lead by 7, 12-5. McCandless to Tatum, a great spot, great placement from Tatum. Read that like a book, put that straight through the hands of the defender. Now 11-9 as Vikings take a lead of 2.
Now Caitlin Stadler back to serve. One of the best, I was going to say choices, but then it's not really a choice who serves. Either way, one of the best people to have back serving for the Vikings, looking to go on a run. Big spike, Addie. Wasps can't recover. Diving save attempt from number 2, a Sydney McPhee. Vikings get the point, make it 12-9 as Caitlin goes back to serve again. The serve received by the libero for the Wasps. A quick hit met by Addie after the hit. Vikings find a way to recover. Light tip over. Addie is there again. Dump over McCandless. Wasps recover. Addie there again on the Wasp. Dump down. Dixie diving save. Hit over to Addie. Sails up and out. Wow. That was so close to being an amazing point for the Vikings. Addie going across the court almost every direction. Final hit sails out for the Vikings. Wasp point. That one doesn't go out off of the Vikings. Viking point immediately after, 13-10. The lead now as McCandless heads back to serve. We just witnessed some impressive volleyball there, Boston.
Addie Beck was all over the court there. On the right side, hard hit, finds open 4 on the back left side from, I believe that is number 5, Lavia. Again, I will not try the first name. I tried that last week.
Elenacina Liava'a.
Yeah, I tried that last week when no one was there to judge me, in person at least, and I judged myself, actually. So that didn't end out great.
Don't worry, Boston. I'll try it for you.
Okay. The serve from the Wasps cannot make it over, brings a Vikings point 15-11 as Addie Beck comes back to serve.
So far, the MVP for the Vikings, Addie Beck. Spike hits off McCandless and sails out. Point Wasps makes it a 3-point lead for the Vikings, 15-12. Sends Annie Cook back to serve for the Wasps. Serve received by Addie. Back set from McCandless. Via there with a big hit. Split the blockers. Wasatch receives the spike. Unable to do anything with it. Falls on their own side. Viking point 16-12 as in comes Via and out goes Stadler. Stalder?
Stadler.
I said it right. Okay. I said it and then I said it with so much confidence I second guessed myself. Molly Mitchell's serve for the Vikings. Hard hit tipped from the blockers. Lexi, big spike, met at the net. We mentioned her earlier. Cronauer for the Wasps, rather. Huge for them up front.
That one went straight down after the hit.
Similar advantage for the Wasps as the Vikings have with Tatum Nelson. Annie Cronauer listed at 6'4", as hard hit. Marley on Marley, hard hit. McCandless Tavaya didn't look Didn't know if everybody was okay. Everybody hops up. No harm done. The scoreboard in the stadium briefly said it was 75-14 for the Vikings. I almost said the wrong score off of that. Wasps get the point, makes it 16-14. As I was saying earlier before the hard hit, Annie Kronauer gives the Wasps a similar advantage that Tatum Nelson does for the Vikings. Tatum listed at 6'6" on Max Preps. Annie a little bit shorter at 6'7", or at 6'4" rather. Vikings, I believe, take the first time out, down 16-14 in the first set. Back now from the Viking timeout. Hopefully the adjustments made help the Vikings take this one. Kronauer for the Wasps, a huge problem up at the front. Almost able to reach over the net without jumping. Big hit. Addie has to just set it over. Sneaks it over the net. Front line for Wasatch has to get it. Big spike. Looked like it got hit by Tatum and Marley. Caitlin on the diving attempt, unable to save it. Point goes to Wasatch, gives them a 2-point lead, makes it 17-15 as Annie Kronauer heads back to serve again for the Wasps.
Received by Addie Beck. McCandless to Tatum, a quick hit, but received on the right side. Hard hit, blocked from Tatum. She says no at the line. Vikings make it 16-17. Trailing by 1 after a huge block from Tatum Nelson will give Dixie Warner the serve.
Dixie checking in for Marley. We mentioned Caitlin and Marley McCandless during the intro. Dixie is right there. Hard hit from Addie on the receive of the spike. Sails out on the right border. Wasatch gets another point, 18-16. 7 away from taking the first set of state. As I gotta say, I'm shocked by how close the game is. Both times these two teams faced during the regular season, it was not really anywhere near this close. As I say that, Lexi gets a big hit, gives the Vikings a point, cuts it back down to 1. Sorry, Boston. As you were saying.
As actually last week, it was a lot closer than the first match. The first 2 sets being 25-22, both in the favor of Pleasant Grove. But both teams were really going back and forth. Pleasant Grove really only got a break at the very end. It was tied 22-22. And then Vikings took a 3-point run in the first set to take it. And basically did the exact same thing in the second as well. As serve received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Addie Beck, gets blocked, but McCandless is there, brought back over. Lexi is there, Stadler to Beck, pulled over, barely received and cannot by the second person. A Vikings point makes it 18-19.
I'll give you another look at that. The diving save on the back from the Vikings sets up the big hit, and the Wasps unable to do anything with it. Caitlin Stadler back to serve.
Received by Lavia on the right side as well. That one is down on that back line. Not too sure how much of that ball was in on that back line, especially with these people you can see in the front row disagreeing with the call. As that will make it 20-18. Wasps lead by 2. Addie Beck with a light tap over, still received. Mitchell to McCandless. What a smack by Molly Mitchell. McCandless to Beck. Hard smack on that back line. Cannot be received by the Wasps. Sydney McPhee makes it 19-20 as the Vikings trail by 1. That will bring Marley McCandless, number 18, back to the serving line. Pulled over, received by the libero. On the right side by Cronauer, a weird interaction from Lexi Brown. Scoops off her wrists, makes that 21-19.
Looked like it was going to hit in either way before Lexi hit it. Rolled awkwardly across her forearms and then sails out. Not how you wanted that to go. Not the end of the world for the Vikings, as big hit via diving save from Wasatch. Light tap over. Lexi's there. The set, Mitchell mistimed it, had to get it with the front hand. As this is turning into a good set from both teams. Big hit. I believe Addie Beck with the kill for the Vikings. Bounced off the arms of Fili Liava'a for the Wasps. Sails into the next court. Viking point cuts the lead for Wasatch to 1 at 21-20. Addie Beck with the serve. Received by the Wasps.
Cronauer with the quick hit. Tips off the hands of McCandless. Addie Beck cannot get there in time off the diving attempt, as the Wasps have a 2-point lead, 20-22.
The Vikings feeling what it's like to be the other team when Tatum is in up front. Cronauer only a couple inches shorter, listed at 6'4". Wow, big hit off of the right side from Marley Vaya. Took the words away as I was trying to say them. And in comes Tatum for Caitlin. As Molly Mitchell back to serve. Vikings down by 1, 21-22. Almost do or die in the first set. Wasps needing 3 points to take a 1-0 lead on the day, as that will not help. Molly Mitchell's serve sails out on the right line, gives the Wasps a point, makes it 23-21. As the Vikings call their second timeout of the set, down by 2, 21-23 when we come back. Back now from the Viking timeout. Annie Cronauer on the back line to serve for the Wasps. Up by 2 and 2 points away from taking the first set in the first round of playoffs. Big hit off of the right side. Lexi Brown, as the Wasp spike gets around the blockers. Big hit off that same side. Lexi again off of the Wasps blockers. Falls out. Viking point, 22-23 the score. Vikings down 1. Dixie Warner back to serve in a pivotal moment of this game. Vikings 3 away from taking it, down by 1. As Dixie serve finds open space on the other side. Vikings tie it up at 23.
Not sure what the Vikings said in that huddle during the timeout, but it sure is working. Vikings get a 2-point run to tie it at 23-23. Dixie Warner still at the serving line, looking to, as the serve cannot make it over. Shut me up real quick as that one will make it 24-23. Vikings need to score here to bring it to a win by 2 situation, or the Wasps will win the first set with Macy Clark on the line.
We mentioned timing issues. Another big issue for the Vikings. Wow, big spike. Lexi Brown off of the Wasp, sails into the stands on the right side of the court. Impressive off of another person. From this point on in the first set, it is a win by 2 situation. As of now, either team needing to get to 26 to take the first set. The back set for Wasatch hits the net. Vikings get the point and take a lead, 25-24. Looking to get another point here to take the first set after what has been a lot closer of a first set than anybody expected. The Wasps take their first time out of the set, giving up 3 points to the Vikings. As give you an update on the rest of the games here in the UCCU Center.
As Maple Mountain and Olympus just finished their first set, the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles taking that one, as Timpview and Woods Cross is just starting their second after Timpview takes it the first one. And then the set on court 1, wow, can't speak.
Spanish Fork and I don't remember who the other team is.
Spanish Fork and, let me check, I just had it up.
Woods Cross?
And West Jordan, as Spanish Fork just took the first one 25-17.
And now back from the Wasps timeout. Vikings needing a point here to take it. Wasps needing a point of their own to tie it up. Win by 2. Vikings 25, Wasps 24. So that looked like that bounced off the face of Lexi Brown. Ties it up for the Vikings. Or for the Wasps, rather, at 25. Wasps serve back at the line. I believe that is Sydney McPhee.
That is Keely Allen, number 8, to serve. As a great dump there from McCandless. Don't know if she got a hand to it or the Wasps just got a bit nervous and forgot to hit it over the net. That will make it 26-25 with Caitlin Stadler at the serving line. Pulled over, received by the libero, stays on the right side, hard smack off the hands of Molly Mitchell, and Marlon McCandless stays alive. McCandless to Caitlin.
Awkward recovery from the Vikings. The dump over finds open space. Point Wasatch ties it up again at 26 each, as this is going to be a high-scoring first set. Each of the other games are on to their second. Looking around the scoreboards in the building, it's kind of funny because they're all at like 2 to 3 or something, and ours is at 26 apiece.
White tap over, falls out of bounds after hitting the hands of Marley McCandless. Makes it 26-27 as we have Felia Lavia, number 6, the libero for the Wasps at the line. Pulled over, received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Beck. Stays alive, but it can't. Falls off the hands of number 5, I believe that one was.
Elenacina Liava'a for the Wasps.
That girl, that name. Makes it 27-27.
Marley McCandless back to serve for the Vikings. Gets it over the net. Wasps receive the set to the front line. Hard hit, bounces off of Caitlin Stadler. I always mess that up when it's a big moment. Makes it 28-27 for the Wasps.
Kernauer has a hammer for an arm there. That ball was smashed. Serve received by the Vikings. Via on the right side. That one stays in. That one barely in. Oh my goodness. I thought that was going to be it for a second. Makes it 28-28 as we are in third point, or technically like 6th point of overtime, as Addie Beck comes back to serve.
Marley Via with a big tip over. That one hits the top of the net for Addie. lands on the Wasatch side, gives the Vikings the point, 29-28, looking to make it 30 and a 1-0 lead in the set. As we give you another look at that,
what a serve. Trying to do it again, cannot. Received by the Wasps on the right side, brought over from Wavia.
Light hit over. Set Lexi, and that will do it for the first set. Vikings take it. Final score 30-28.
I think that's the highest scoring set I've ever seen from this year or last year.
That's the highest. 58 total points were just scored in front of us at the first round of state. If that's any preview of how the rest of today and tomorrow is going to go, we are in for a good ride with the Vikings, as the Vikings take the first one 30-28, up 1-0, and the first round of the state tournament when we come back. Back for the second set in the first round of state. Vikings took the first 30-28 in what was a crazy set. Vikings had it early, Wasps came back, and then the Vikings find a way to get it at the end, taking it by 2, 30-28. As now for the second set, Addie Beck to serve for the Vikings.
Addie Beck comes up, fires to the back, and first point starts it off well for the Vikings, 1-0 with the ace.
As Vikings looking to continue more of that in this set and hopefully not repeat the last one. Last one being a nail biter almost the entire time. Miscommunication between Marley McCandless and Molly Mitchell. Or correction, Addie Beck, my bad, as Marley hit it away from Addie on the dive. Addie still almost got to it.
Started crawling to it, basically. Serve over from Moani Allred, received by the Vikings. Hard hit there. Cannot be tipped from a Wasp. Will make it 1-2. As Moani Allred back to serve, as the Wasps have the lead by 1. Pulled over, received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Lexi, hard hit. That one's tipped. Pulled to the right side, light tap over. Addie Beck is there. McCandless to Lexi Brown, hard hit, but blocked. Falls back on the Wasps' end from Abby Maxfield. Ends in a Vikings point to tie it 2-2.
And back for the Vikings to serve goes Molly Mitchell, looking to put a run together and take the lead early in the second set. Hard hit over on the left side for the Wasps. Big hit via. Ball went about 30 feet in the air off of a Wasp. Hit over, tipped by Molly Mitchell. Sails out, Wasp point. As now back to serve Annie Cook for the Wasps. Looking to build to their lead. Serve received by Stadler. The back set from McCandless to Vaya. Big hit. Split the block from Cronauer and Kylie Allen up front for the Wasps. Hits the court on the back line. Point Vikings 3-3 as Dixie Warner goes back to serve. Dixie's serve received by the Wasps. Quick set hit by Tatum Nelson. Lands on the Wasp side. Point Vikings 4-3. As now Dixie goes back to serve again for the Vikings.
Great touch there from Tatum Nelson. She really saw that in open space. Just an amazing touch there. I don't believe that counts as a block. As Dixie Warner with an ace makes that 5-3 as they take a 2-point lead.
I believe the Tatum hit will go down as a kill.
Yeah, I believe so. I believe it might be able to go down as both. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure how the stats are figured out. A
Big
quick
spike.
hit there. That one almost hit our photographers over on the left side. You can't see them on the screen, but that one went right in between them. Cronauer with the serve over, received by Beck. McCandless to Brown, a hard smack, but jumbled up and caught basically from Annie Cronauer. Will make it 6-4. Lexi Brown back at the serving line. Received by Cook. Good hit there, but blocked. As Beck brings it over, tipped from a Wasp, diving save. Hard hit as Caitlin Stadler got a hand to it, but cannot play it on. Will make it 6-5.
Wasps putting together a little run here, cutting the lead down to 1. Looking to build on it and try to strike back in the second set as the serve sails out off of the arm of number 12, Mackenzie Sidwell. Correction, number 12 is not listed on Max Preps for Wasatch.
As there is not a number 12 out there, you are looking at the right person, number 13.
I can't read. It's early. I can't read right now.
Caitlin Stadler with a great serve, barely saved. Received by her as well. McCandless to Molly as almost saved, called a 4-hit. As that would have been an amazing save there from the Wasps, unable to make it. Now 8-5, and wow, I just looked over, and on court 2,
wow.
Woods Cross is beating Timpview 23-8 right now in the second set. I was not expecting that.
Beating is a generous word.
You could say so. As a bit of miscommunication on the Viking end from Molly Mitchell and Addie Beck as they work that out right now. Makes it 8-6 with, Number 2 is Sydney McPhee with the serve. Addie Beck pulls it over, received by Sydney. Brought over in 2. McCandless with a great will tap over on the right side. Received by Stadler. McCandless to Beck. Pulled over, tipped. Great save there from the Wasps. Brought over, tipped from a Viking just over the head of Dixie Warner. Lexi Brown cannot make it, as that will end in a Wasps point as they trail by 1.
That was a fantastic set that we just watched from both sides as the Wasps' ensuing serve hits the top of the net off of Sydney McPhee's arm, gives the point to the Vikings, makes it 9-7, and sends Marley McCandless back to serve.
Pulled over, received by the Libero on the back line. On the right side, hard hit. And McKenzie keeps it in on the back line, makes it 9-8. Okay, I was right. It was McKenzie. I was really hoping it was. Serve brought over, miscommunication. Hard hit there from Molly Mitchell. Cannot be played on, as kept in the air after a little bit of juggling there from the Wasps. Whistle is blown, called dead. Vikings point now 10-8. Addie Beck with the serve brought over, received by the Wasps. Cronauer with the hard hit just in front of the hands of Addie Beck. Cannot get a play on it, as both teams going back and forth here. Pleasant Grove still leading by 1, as something will need to break here unless we want another 30-point set from the Vikings. As that one called in on the back line. Very close there. Great call from the line judge. Will bring an ace and tie it at 10 apiece for both teams. As Milani Allred with the serve picks up another ace, makes it 10-11 as the Wasps take the point off of 2 straight aces. Will promote the Vikings to take a timeout early into basically right around the middle of the second set. Serve brought over from Milani Allred, received by the Vikings, brought over from Lexi Brown. Hard smack right at the face of the libero. Forgot it was called for a second. Ties it up 11-11. Molly Mitchell back at the serving line for the Vikings, a senior number 7. Cannot be pulled over, makes it 11-12 after the bad serve from Molly.
Serving issues and timing issues on spikes have been prevalent throughout the Vikings season to this point. You gotta hope, this being playoffs, big hit from Tatum into Cronauer, tip ball at the net. Great recovery from both squads. Wasps spike hits, 4-hit for the Wasps, rather. Vikings take the point and tie it at 12 in the second set of state. Sends Dixie Warner back to the line to serve for the Vikings. As Dixie's serve gets over the net and is received by Fili Liava'a. hit by Cronauer. Looked like it got touched by Tatum. Either way, bounced off of Dixie's arm. Point Wasps. Makes it 13-12. And now Cronauer for the Wasps back to serve. Received by Addie Beck. The hit from McCandless. Big hit. Cross-court spike sails all the way across the court and out. Gives the Wasps a point and a 2-point lead, 14-12. As Cronauer with another serve here.
Barely received by the Vikings, brought over by Tatum into dead space, finds the 4 for the kill. Will make it 13-14.
Great placement on the tip over from Tatum. Put it right in the middle of no man's land. Hits and gives the Vikings a point. Sends Lexi Brown back to serve for the Vikings.
Pulled over, received. Hard hit, but blocked from McCandless. Attempt 2 cannot make it over the net. Point Vikings as that ties it at 14-14.
Marley McCandless, the MVP of that set for the Vikings. Or of the, you know what I meant, of the rally.
There you go.
For the Vikings. Got the block on Cronauer the first time. The second time was right there to meet her, had her spike gotten over. Just like that, whistle blown, point Vikings. Another 4 hit on Wasatch. Vikings take the lead 15-13 in the second set.
Lexi Brown back at the serving line with a 2-point lead. Pulled over, received by Annie Cook. All red to Harmon, received by Stadler. McCandless to Tatum. Quick hit down the middle.
Right between the blockers for Wasatch up front. You made fun of me when I said it at Wasatch, so I'm going to say Chloe for the Wasps, as well as Kylie Allen up front. The ensuing serve for the Vikings hits the net off of Lexi, gives the Wasps the point, makes it 16-14 in favor of the Vikings. And into the game comes Macy Clark for Wasatch to serve. As not sure what the delay is. One of the line judges checking something with the scorer's table. Not sure what happened there. Wasatch with the serve. Received by Addie. The set from McCandless back to Tatum. Big hit off of the block from Wasatch again. Tatum showing up in the second set, proving why she is the better player, or proving why she's the best player on the court. The Utah State commit, big there for the Vikings, sends Caitlin back to serve as the Vikings, I can't do math, 8 points away from taking it. That will not help as Wasatch gets the point, makes it 15-17.
As I'll bring Sydney McPhee, number 2, to the serving line. Pulled over, received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Beck. Hard hit, tipped off the hands. Right side, good hit there, received by Lexi Brown. Addie Beck with a hard hit. That one flies over, back in one. McCandless to Beck again. Hard smack, cannot be received that time. Point Vikings as they take a lead of 3, 18-15.
And in for the Vikings comes Marley Vire, replacing Dixie Warner, as Marley McCandless is back at the line to serve for the Vikings, up by 3.
Weird reception there from the libero. So brought over, but blocked.
Right back into the libero, able to save it. Vikings, big back set. Vaya gets the kill again for the Vikings, makes it 19-15. This is the team Viking fans have expected to see throughout the year. Just dominant spikes from the women up front as McCandless serve after the Vaya kill.
On the left side, a hard hit, but received by Stadler. McCandless to Molly Mitchell, but blocked solo by Chloe Harmon.
That is an impressive block from Chloe Harmon, listed at 5'9" on Max Preps. Just blocked Addie Beck, who is listed at 6 even. Big jump for Wasatch. Could be the kickstart they need to get back in this one, and that will certainly help. Vaya hits it up and out, gives Wasatch the point, cuts the Viking lead to 2 at 19-17.
As that will be an ace for the Wasps, as number 6, Felia Lavia, comes back to serve after trailing by 1, 19-18. Pulled over, received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Beck, hard spike just past the hands of every Wasp on the court. Will make it 20-18.
I believe Wasatch taking the first time out of the set, down by 2, 20-18. Back from the Wasps timeout, Addie Beck to serve for the Vikings. 5 away from taking the second set, much quicker than they took the first, and needing 30 points to do it. As that will certainly help. The ace from Beck hits a Wasp and sails into the stands. Point Vikings, 21-18 is the score. The ace for Addie puts the Vikings 4 away from taking the second set in this first round of state. Confusion in the sideline as to who's going to get it. Wasps recover. Quick hit. Molly Mitchell off of the Wasp blockers gives the Vikings the point. 22-18. Vikes up 4 in the second set. Addie to serve once again.
Vikes?
You say it.
I said it once and you made fun of me.
Yeah.
Addie Beck with the serve over, received. McCandless to Vaya, hard smack just past the hands of Lavia. The libero will make it 23-18. Vikings lead by 5.
As Wasatch takes their second time out of the set, down by 5. The connection between the Marlies in the set, big for the Vikings. You saw it there, McCandless to Vaya, both playing really, really well so far today. Early in the first round for the Vikings. Back from the Wasp timeout. Jinx Boston.
I didn't say anything. I made a noise and stopped myself.
Serve from Addy, recovered by Wasatch. Light hit over McCandless. Lexi off of Wasatch.
That one
almost
soars.
hit the rafters. It was crazy. Had to have gone 50 feet in the air at least off of Wasatch. Sends Addy to the line for the chance to win it for the Vikings.
Serve received by Sydney McPhee. Brought back over, returned. Lexi Brown with the kill. Takes the second set as well. 25-18. Vikings ahead 2-0 in set wins. Going to the third and potentially final one for the first round. Vikings looking for the sweep here. The Wasps really looking for a set to win, as taking a look at some of the other scores around the arena. On court one, we have the, I'm trying to remember it, the West Jordan, what are they? I believe the West Jordan Jaguars. I'm probably wrong about that, but they are losing 0-2 against the Spanish Fork Dons, as their third set is currently 4-8. As well on court two, there is Timpview and Woods Cross. Woods Cross is in the lead 2-0 in set wins, as well as their third being 17-6 or 17-7 now, looking like they might take the sweep against the Timpview Thunderbirds. As well on court number three, we have the Maple Mountain Golden Eagles going against the Olympus Titans, as the Golden Eagles are winning that one 2-0 in set wins, as well as 11-7 in their third set. Now coming back for the third and potentially final set here in the first round of the Pleasant Grove Vikings going against the Wasatch Wasps here at UVU. Milani Allred with the first serve received by Lexi Brown. A good hit over from Addie Beck, flies back. What a save. Krenauer brings it back over, received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Molly Mitchell. What a hit as that one flies back towards the Olympus Titans, as thrown back, almost hitting the libero for the Wasps. Addie Beck back at the serving line with the lead, 1-0 to start. Received by Lava'a. Cronauer with a mistimed hit, still brought back over from the Wasps. Marley Vaya with a good hit just past the blockers on the right side. Barely evades the pole on the right side. Brings another Vikings point as Lava'a sprawls out to try to get it but cannot. Addie Beck back at work. Pulled towards the left side, received by Lava'a. Milani Allred fired out the back by Abby Maxfield. Makes it 3-0. A great start for the Vikings.
Up 3-0 early. So far the highlight, the Marley Vaya hit between the blockers and the pole on the side of the net. Vikings' second point big as that bounces off of the arms of Addie Beck. Gives the Wasps their first point of the set. 3-1 is the lead for the Vikings. As back goes Annie Cook to serve for the Wasps. As Annie's serve gets over the net, received by, I completely forgot our own player's name. Either way, the spike bounces off of the blockers on the Vikings side, gives Wasatch their second point, makes it a 1-point game, 3-2 in favor of the Vikings. Annie Cook back again to serve. The serve received by Stadler. McCandless over to Lexi. Received by the Wasps, Fili Liava'a. As Addie Beck gets it hit over by Marley Vaya. Hard hit right at Annie Cook. Vikings get the point 4-2.
Great placement there. Great set from Marley McCandless. And oh my goodness, an amazing placement from Marley Vaya.
Kellen Acera.
Kellen Acera comes into the game. Couldn't quite see her number there. As I believe a raise was called. It's kind of hard for me to see the secondary ref. So yes, it was a raise or a lift. I'm not quite sure what the technical term is. One of those. But that will bring Annie Cronauer to the serving line as Vikings lead by 1, 4-3. Serve received by Caitlin Stadler. Lexi Brown with a hard hit, but gets denied. Marley Vaya with a take two. Bounces off the net, stays in bounds. As the whole team rush into it, cannot make it. As that will bring the Vikings a 2-point lead, 5-3.
Update from some of the other games. On court 2, the Thunderbirds falling to
Woods Cross.
Thank you, Boston.
Wildcats. That's what they are. Yeah, the Wildcats.
The Wildcats beating the Thunderbirds in, I believe, a clean sweep, 3-0. Final score of the last rally was 25-8.
Abby Maxfield, great placement straight through Lexi Brown and Tatum Nelson. Couldn't quite see who was on the left. That was Lexi Brown. That will make it 5-4. As we will have number 18, Macy Clark, back to serve for the Wasps. Pulled over, flies out the back, ends out in a Vikings point as they lead by 2 now, 6-4.
Lexi Brown back to serve for the Vikings after the serve sails up and out for Wasatch. Vikings up by 2. Received by Fili Liava'a for the Wasps. He's set from McCandless to Brown. Finds space, falls in, Viking point.
As that was Addie Beck with the hit on the left side, not Lexi Brown, I believe. As yes, it was with the replay. Great placement from Addie Beck to bring a 3-point lead.
Lexi Brown back to serve after the Addie Beck spike. Hits the top of the net and falls on the Vikings side, makes it 7-4. 5 rather. in favor of the Vikings. So now back to serve for the Vikings, Sydney McPhee, or for the Wasps rather, Sydney McPhee. Hits the top of the net. Vikings get the serve and the point right back, 8-5. For the Vikings, Caitlin Stadler back to serve.
Pulled over, received by, looked like 2 Wasps. White tap over, blocked. Molly Mitchell brings it over just over the head of Macy Clark, and Sydney McPhee will make it 9-5. Vikings lead by 4. Caitlin Stadler back at the serving line. Pulled over, received by Lava'a. Hit by her as well. That one flies out the back. Will now bring the Vikings to double digits, 10-5.
Now Caitlin Stadler back to serve for the Vikings after getting the point received by Leah Va'a. Big hit from the Vikings gives them another point, makes it 11-5. Up by 6 as I believe Wasatch called timeout. 11-5 in the third, possibly final set of the first round of state.
As coming back from the Wasatch timeout, Vikings lead by 6. As well, to clear some confusion, there are 2 Liava'as on the team, being number 6 and number 5. As I honestly cannot pronounce the name of number 5. I've been trying. I don't think I got it.
Elenasina Liava'a.
Yeah, mid-rally, I'm not going to be able to say that without dramatically messing it up. As the hit from Sydney McPhee cannot clear the net, will bring a 7-point lead towards the Vikings, 12-5. Caitlin Stadler back at the serving line, gets an ace after, I believe that was Sydney McPhee with the dive over the head, over the head of Chloe Harmon. I don't know what my voice did there.
Again, it's really early for a stream right now.
Brought over from Addie Beck, received by Liava, hit by one as well, but blocked from Marley McCandless and Molly Mitchell. Oh my goodness. She's a sophomore, but she's crazy good. That will make it 14-5. Vikings lead by 9.
Diving save from Liava'a. Correction, it hit the ground before her hand got to it.
Make that lead by 10 as Caitlin Stadler back at work, already having, I believe, 2 or 3 aces already in her rally, as she has been going crazy. Good dump there. Caitlin is there. McCandless to Mitchell. Received by Sydney McPhee. Brought over from Liava'a. Received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Molly. Mistimed the jump. Addie Beck cannot get there in time. That will end the Vikings scoring run as
Fili Liava'a back to serve for the Wasps.
I believe the in-house scoreboard is wrong. They forgot to add a point from earlier as Addie Beck with a crazy smack there on the left side. I guess that will make it 15-6 as the Vikings lead by 9. As I believe it should be 16 from the little miscommunication, or not the miscommunication, the diving save attempt from Weava'a. As a diving one there, Marley brings it back over. Cronauer with the hard hit, but tipped and playable. McCandless to Vaya through the blockers, through 2 more Wasps. Oh my goodness. Vikings take a lead of 10. What a play. We have seen Marley Vaya all day through those blockers.
Now it is 16-6 based on the scoreboard in the arena. We will continue to use that for our scorebug on the broadcast rather. Now it is 17-6 for the Vikings. The confusion on the scoreboard issues momentary, but still felt big.
Cronauer with a hard hit there, I believe got tipped from Addie Beck. Lexi Brown unable to get the play there, flies off her hands for a Wasps point, makes it 17-7. As Milani Allred with the serve at number 1 for the Wasps. Pulled over, received by Caitlin. McCandless to Vaya, as that one flies back towards the Vikings side, out of bounds, makes it 18-7.
So hard to highlight one player from this set that's been like the MVP, because there's been highlight moments from everybody on the Viking side of the court and some from the Wasatch side. Cronauer, one-person wrecking machine for the Wasps. Huge for them up front.
And sorry, were you talking about MVP of the match or the set?
The set.
For the set, I would gladly take Caitlin Stadler with her serving earlier. She went on a 9-point run.
For the match?
For the set.
I know, I'm saying who would you give it to for the match?
Honestly, that will be determined by who takes the win of the match, because it would swing either way depending on the winner. For the Vikings, I would probably either take Caitlin Stadler, Molly Mitchell, or Marley Vaya probably, as well as Lexi Brown being very, very close. And then for the Wasps, let's see, Annie Cronauer has been going crazy. She's had a couple of blocks already, having great hitting. She really brings the hammer down when she tries, as well as, let's see, Annie Cook. She has had some great plays, a couple of blocks even for being 5'9". That's crazy, especially on someone such as Addie Beck that we saw earlier, who is 6 foot, or yeah, just 6 foot. That was crazy to see from someone. She's not short, but in volleyball she's pretty short. As jumble up from Annie Cook, and Milani Allred will make it 20-10.
Now in for the Vikings comes Dixie Warner to serve.
As Adri Warren, number 21, checks on, but I believe Wasatch takes a timeout. I believe it was Wasatch.
Vikings up by 10, 20-10 in the third, possibly final set of the first round of the playoff against the Wasatch Wasps.
As coming back after the timeout, Dixie Warner, with the serve, received harshly by the Wasps, cannot be brought over from Abby Maxfield as Moani Allred tries to get a dive and save but cannot make it. Now 21-10. Dixie Warner back at the serving line. Pulled over, received by Annie Cook, brought over and one. McCandless to Tatum, a quick hit to Liava'a. Allred gets blocked, I believe. Can't quite see very well.
McCandless got her.
As a hard hit there from Adri Warren. A jumble at the net. McCandless to Tatum, finds the floor, gets the kill for the Vikings as they lead by 12. I keep getting confused with Adri Warren and Dixie Warner.
Hey, the Marleys and Molly Mitchell.
They haven't got me this year yet, surprisingly.
I know, they always mess me up on the call.
On the right side, Harmon there cannot make it, as well as I didn't even notice Quincy Harvey now on the floor, number 33 on the front left.
I got to say, based on what we saw in that first set, this has been quite a quick game. Vikings 3 away from winning it. Flashback to the first set. Vikings took it 30-28. If you're tuning in late, that's not an error on the score bug. That is what happened. It was crazy as that spike goes between the hands of Harvey and McCandless. As the point will go to Wasatch. Vikings lead down to 10, 22-12, 3 away from winning the set and taking the match in the first round of the playoff.
Brought over, received by Adri Warner, brought over and one. Addie Beck cannot get a hand up in time as it is punished. Now 22-13 as we will have number 18, Macy Clark, with the serve.
And back in for the Vikings up front, number 44, Tatum Nelson, looking to put this one away for the Vikings.
Tatum
right
goes up.
to her from McCandless. Spike received by the Wasps.
Great save there from Caitlin Stadler. I was looking where the ball was going. From Caitlin Stadler, cannot make it inbounds. That one flies over towards the other court. I don't know who's warming up over there. Served by Macy Clark, received by Addie Beck. Lexi Brown, hard spike right towards Liava'a, brought over and one. Punished by Tatum, punished again. That one thrown out of bounds from Macy Clark. Makes it a Vikings point, 23-14.
Tatum Nelson making her case for MVP of the match, assuming the Vikings win this this set. It'll be a crazy comeback from Wasatch.
Lexi Brown serve cannot make it over. We'll make it 23-15 as Pleasant Grove leads by 8. That will bring Moani Allred to the serving line. Sorry, that is not Moani Allred. That is Sydney McPhee. Moani is number 1. As she picks up an ace after miscommunication from Caitlin Stadler and Lexi Brown. Caitlin dives in front of it, cannot make it. 23-16 as the Vikings will take a timeout. Sorry, we were trying to fix a couple of things.
Got back late for commentating. McCandless to Nelson. Almost gets the kill. The hit over by Wasatch. Diving save from Lexi. Almost does it again. Wasatch gets the point, cuts the lead down to six for the Vikings. Hey, 1 point isn't bad. It's not like I said they were down by 8.
That's fair. Serve received by Lexi Brown. McCandless to Tatum. Finds a spot. Swerves to the left of Macy Clark. Will make it 24-17. One more point to take out the third set. Caitlin Stadler at the line. Just who you want. Received by Sydney McPhee. Brought over from Weava'a. Received from Caitlin Stadler on the left side. Sorry, Addie Beck. Brought back from the Wasps. Weava'a received by Dixie Warner. McCandless to Molly. That one hits the hands of Weava'a as well as Chloe Harmon. Finds the floor out of bounds for a Vikings point as they close out the third set with a win 25-17 as they take the match win 3-0 clean sweep, the third one against the Wasps this season.
Vikings took the first set 30-28, took the second 25-18, and then took the third 25-17. They will advance to the second round of state where I believe they're playing Maple Mountain. Max Preps has not been updated yet.
As they did have a clean 3-0 sweep against the Olympus. It was hard fought, but Maple Mountain took out the win, as we have seen Pleasant Grove play Maple Mountain twice before, both taking them 3-2. This is not so much looking like a state tournament, more just like 5A Region 7, as Pleasant Grove will be going against two teams from their own region, just being Wasatch, next being Maple Mountain, as we will see you, I believe, at noon. Depends on how long, who's playing right now. That will be Northridge and Bountiful, the 11th and 6th seed. As we will see you next on court number 3.
It's the winner of Skyline Alta.
What?
Skyline and Alta are playing on court 3 right now.
Yes. I'm saying Northridge and Bountiful are playing right now on court 4.
My bad. I thought you were saying depending on how long the next game goes on court 3.
Well, yeah, that is fair. I wasn't really thinking about that, but you are correct there. It is on court 3 against Skyline and Alta. Skyline being the number 3 seed, Alta being the number 19th seed. So we will see what happens there. We will see you at noon after we move our camera and after these games.